Welcome to Cattle Connect, your insight into Alabama's beef cattle industry. I'm your host, Aaron Beasley, and this is Cattle Connect, brought to you by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. Hello, cattlemen. We are so glad to have you back this week for another episode of the Cattle Connect podcast. It is right in the middle of football season now, and we are still praying for rain across the entire state. But today we are bringing you something maybe a little different in comparison to some other podcast episodes you might have listened to. This week we're going to be highlighting the website. Many of you have probably utilized the bamabeef.org website in the past. There's a lot of different features on that, and we wanted to make sure that you were up to date on all of those features. And to do that today, to kind of walk us through that, we have the website guru herself, Kayla Greer from the staff. And for those that don't know, I remember way back when Kayla first started working at the Cattlemen's Association, one of her first big projects was a complete website overhaul. And once she did that, she certainly has been our guru in all things website for us. And so she is the person to definitely talk on this topic. So Kayla, so good to have you in the Cattle Connect studio today.
Glad to be here. Yeah, the website has been a pet project of mine ever since I started, like you said, and it's something that we work on literally daily. It is, when I pull up my web browser here at my desk, it is the thing that pulls up every morning when I sit down and start to work on it.
Sure, and one thing about the website is it is always changing. It's rapidly changing, and something that we have to stay on top of. And so, let's just kind of get with it and start with our overview. Probably, the first thing to start with would just be the homepage, that landing page that when a producer types in bamabeef.org, they go to that website, and the homepage has a lot of stuff kind of happening at once. So kind of walk us through what you're going to see when you first pull that website up.
Yeah, so it looks like any other website homepage that you're used to seeing. It'll have some pretty imagery. It'll feature our logo in the top corner. But, outside of aesthetics and functionality, I want to just highlight some things that are on that homepage right out the gate when you land, like Aaron said, on bamabeef.org. What are some things that you're going to see on that homepage that you might want? And when we were doing the website overhaul, we thought about functionality for our cattle producers. What were they going to the website to see the most? And so we pulled some data from the old website and said, okay, where are cattlemen going the most when they stop at our page? Well, the two things that jumped right off the page were the market report, using that link to get to the market reports, and then the events calendar. So we knew that those were the two things that needed to be highlighted first and foremost on the homepage, and so they are. When you get to bamabeef.org, you're going to immediately see the featured events calendar. That's the 5 most current events coming up that live on our website's calendar. So those are right out the gate, and then just a little scroll down the page and you'll see the click out for the market report. That takes you to those USDA market reports that we all like to see from the stockyards right there on the homepage of the website. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to click any more buttons. bamabeef.org, you're there. And then also on the homepage, you'll see is a Shop Now button, and that's where you can go and explore and find all those beef tags, those cattleman hats. Like I said, it's in the top right corner of the page, and it says Shop Now. You can't miss it. And if you are looking for one of our famous cattleman hats, one of our belt buckles, one of our beef tags, that's where you're going to go to get that. And last but not least, for homepage features, I want you guys to know that that's where also you're going to click out to go to the Bama Beef blog, or where we house our Bama Beef news articles that we publish monthly. They're a great producer communication piece, and there's, depending on what platform, if you're on your phone, it lives in one place. If you're on desktop, it lives in another. But there's about 4 little floating bubbles that are on the homepage of the website. And you'll see them. They kind of move around as you scroll on the page. And there's one that's a little black dot, and that is the Bama Beef News link out. So if you click that, you can read a monthly article from bamabeef.org. And from the Cattlemen's Association each month, and that's where that's where you can get your news from us. So that's the homepage, Erin. Those are the 4 things out the gate that like we want people to be able to see.
Yeah, I was just sitting here kind of thinking through that homepage because I visit it quite frequently myself, whether it be at my desk or when I'm out and about traveling, pulling up an events calendar, whatever it may be. But that definitely, those would be the things that jump off when I think about our homepage as well. So the next thing that I think most people probably would navigate through would be the tabs on a website. That's pretty standard. And so let's just go tab by tab, Kayla, and talk about what people can expect to find in there, and maybe some things they didn't know that they could find.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems in there. We've got 58 pages on this website. It's no small website.
Okay, 58 pages. We won't go through all 58 today. That would take a little longer. But just starting with the About ACA tab, just what's some things that jump off there for you?
Yeah, highlight to that one. That's going to be the most important tab probably on the entire website. So we might spend a little bit more time living there. But right off the gate, when you click the About tab, you're going to see leadership. That's where our officers, who are our officers, what are their names, where are they from, our regional vice presidents and our past presidents. If you want to know who leads this organization, that's where you're going to look. Right below leadership is, of course, the staff page, and with our great little headshots and kind of what we do lives there, so you know who to contact when you're working on different projects or need to get in touch with somebody here at the office. That tab also houses this podcast. The Cattle Connect podcast landing page lives on that tab. So if you're having trouble with your Spotify or your Apple podcast, you can just go to the website there and listen on the player on that website. There's also some information about the museum. We book a lot of tours through that website or through that web page on the About tab. The museum, it highlights each stop in the museum, and people who are interested in maybe bringing a tour group can fill out a form to get on the books with us to visit the museum. It also has our Beef Pack Club registration and our government affairs information. That's about as exciting as it sounds. Not much lives there if you want to.
Now, Kayla, our governmental affairs tab is very exciting. I beg to differ.
Hey, it does house the policy book. So if you're interested in what we stand for as an organization and what we are fighting for or against, that's where you're going to go. You're going to go to the government affairs webpage, and there you'll find the policy book. And then beef cattle facts. That is something that we get a lot of questions about every year, Erin. We're always referring people to that page, whether it's news media or cattle producers.
Yeah, and also, I mean, even legislators.
Yeah,
I know
that's right.
Our congressional delegation, a lot of times when they're putting together, whether it be speeches or comments or just some, kind of keeping up to date on what's going on with the cattle industry, given that it is the second largest ag commodity in the state, they utilize those beef facts. And so luckily we're able to get that. I think you compile that based off of data we get from NAS. And so thankful to have that and be able to put it together in a pretty format to be able to share with media or whoever it may be.
Yeah, and that has recently been updated. We get that data back from NAS from the previous year, each year in July. So that's been a project and that me and our friends at Extension have been working on to get conglomerated into pretty and very readable information. So if you're interested in how the beef cattle industry in Alabama is doing, go visit that webpage. Again, it's the Beef Cattle Facts is what we call it. It's the webpage. Also on that About tab, Stockyard Directory. We have lots of great auction markets here in the state that are selling our cattle, and one might sell on a Monday, another sells on a Tuesday, one might sell at 11 o'clock, and another sells at 1 o'clock, and it's real hard to keep up with. I get it. So we house the Stockyard Directory on there. It lists their sale times, the owners, their contact information, and where they live. Speaking of directories, we also have the Bama Beef Sales Directory. So local beef, if you are somebody that sells local beef to people in the community, you want your listing on there because we refer a lot of traffic to the Bama Beef Sales Directory because we get a lot of calls in the office about where can I buy local beef. We send them to our friends at Sweet Growing Alabama, and then we send them to bamabeef.org/BamaBeef, where they can view listings there. So if you're interested in having your local beef products listed for sale on that, get with us, myself or Josie here in the office, and we can get your listing up there. All right, I'm moving kind of down the list in importance and timeliness. So moving on straight from there, scholarships. That's where the scholarship page lives. And speaking of scholarships, everyone, those are going to open on September 23rd. So here in a couple of weeks, we're going to be launching our 2025-2026 academic year scholarships. And you will find those applications, all the descriptions for the different scholarships, the many different scholarships that we have are going to live on that page, as well as the applications. So send your students there starting September 23rd. And last but certainly not least, in fact, it's probably the most important page in the entire website since we are a membership organization, that's the Join Now page. If you go to bamabeef.org/join, that's where you can go to renew your membership or join as a new member, and it features all your member benefits. If you go to bamabeef.org/benefits, you can view your benefits as a member of the association, and all of that lives under the Join web pages. And like I said, most important page on the site probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on that About ACA tab that probably most highly trafficked from our visitors to the website. So, okay, moving along, the next one is the beef checkoff, another big one for us. So what can we find on the beef checkoff tab?
Anything you need to know about the beef checkoff is going to live there. So what is the checkoff? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the national beef checkoff, and we're going to talk about the state beef checkoff on that tab. And probably if I had to pick one thing that was the most important off of that entire tab with all those different web pages, it's going to be the marketing plan. That is where the Alabama Beef Checkoff marketing plan lives. So if you have the question, hey, where are those checkoff dollars going to work? That is where you're going to want to go look at bamabeef.org/checkoff, and you can explore all the different avenues and program areas where they're building out programs to promote beef and educate producers and put those checkoff dollars to work. Also on that tab is information about the Young Cattlemen's Leadership Program, whether you're interested in joining the organization, whether you're an alumni, or whether the council. It's kind of got three different branches now. It's got the council, it's got alumni, and it's got current members. And no matter where you fall in that, there's a web page for that. Also, Aaron, this one's kind of interesting and maybe something a lot of people don't know. Private treaty. We're headed into sale season, and so lots of sales are going on-farm sales, where they're not automatically collecting that $1 remittance through the check at the stockyard. And so if you are a seed stock producer and you're hosting a sale, or maybe you're doing private treaty sales off of your farm and you want to submit your checkoff dollars, you can do that with a check in the mail, of course, or you can go to our checkoff tab on our website and use a credit card to send in your private treaty submissions. A lot of people, that's one of those things like you alluded to, Aaron, that a lot of people probably don't know about that's on the website, but it is there.
Yeah, and let me just add one thing there, Kayla. Given that we're kind of getting towards the end of the year, this is probably just a good time for a friendly reminder, whether you're a seed stock person, a commercial cattleman, whatever it may be. If you sell an animal off your farm, you are to remit the dollar check off for the national and the dollar check off for the state. And so that private treaty tab can be a real benefit. Just jump on there. You can plug in, hey, I sold 20 calves off my farm, straight off, this month, and it'll collect your check off. You can pay your $40 and you're done. Or you can send that check, as you mentioned.
That's right. Moving on down the list, local beef info. So not to be confused with the Bama Beef Directory, where we host local beef listings. Local beef information is maybe you're a cattle producer who is interested in selling local beef, but you're just not sure where to get started. That website came to life during COVID, and when a lot of producers were having questions about how do I get started selling local beef? What are my marketing channels? What do I feed my cattle? And so what we did was we hosted a 3-part webinar series and recorded those webinars for people to be able to go back and still capture that information later. And here we are years later, and that website still is alive and well, and it's a great resource. We are proud to have it on our site, and we refer people there all the time. So if you are somebody who is interested in selling local beef but maybe has a few questions, that is the page for you. And again, it's under the checkoff tab. And last but certainly not least, this one is just a soft and fluffy page, but it's fun. Kids activities. If you have maybe the grandkids are coming over to your house for the weekend and you're looking for something for them to do that might be a little bit more of a quiet activity or an inside activity after they've been sweating all day, go to the kids activities page on the checkoff and print off some fun beef coloring sheets and activity pages, and that lives there on the website. It's a little known fact.
That's good to know. I'll mention one more time, Kayla. We were talking about private treaty and beef checkoff remittance. Probably important to know for any of those producers that are doing that local beef sales. When you sell that animal, I know we have to sell it on the hoof, but don't forget that's also a time to collect the checkoff for us. And so because that is a sale of that animal, I think a lot of times we always think about, well, we're selling calves, we're selling feeder calves, we're selling cows, but if you're feeding that animal all the way out and then you sell it in quarters or halves, at some point that checkoff does need to be remitted. And don't forget, you can do that through the website.
That's a really good point. I'm imagining some folks right now going, I ain't thought of that.
Yeah. So just a friendly reminder there. We always like to plug that and really just remind people, because I do know it gets forgotten from time to time. So
don't rely on podcasts alone to stay connected to Alabama's beef industry. Follow us at AL Cattlemen on Facebook and Instagram to get daily news and updates from the Alabama Cattlemen's Association.
All right, so the next one you'll see if you're visiting our website is going to be the magazine page. A lot of good information in there.
Yeah. Of course, the magazine is our best member benefit. So if you are not a member of the association and you're listening to this, or maybe you are a member and you forgot, don't forget that our magazine it's a premier livestock magazine here in the Southeast, and I'd argue across the nation. We're real proud of it, and if you are a member and we have your email address on file with your membership, each month you are going to get an email in your inbox with the digital magazine, and it will link out to this webpage, bamabeef.org/read. It is password protected. You do have to be a member. It is an exclusive member benefit. So if you're not a member, join up and then we'll get you that password. And if you are a member and you're not getting that email each month with the password, make sure we have your email on file. But that is where that lives. It's updated the first of every month, and we enjoy having that as a platform for us. It's handy for us out in the field. Maybe we don't have the physical book in our hands, but we can refer back to that webpage and have the magazine right there. We also have our advertising information listed on that site. Nikki Godwin here on our staff does an excellent job of putting together the magazine each month and coordinating the advertisers and making it just look all really nice and laid out. And if you are interested in maybe advertising, that is where you can go learn more about some of our rates and how to get in touch with Nikki. She is a great resource and would love to talk to you about advertising in the magazine. Speaking of, there's also a breeder's directory. So we just talked about advertising. One of the ways that you can advertise in the magazine is through the breeder's directory. So that not only gets you a print ad in the magazine, but you'll also live on our online breeder's directory. So if somebody says, oh man, I'm looking to buy a Hereford bull, got any recommendations? Well, yeah, sure. Because it's broken up by breed, I can go to the breeder's directory on the website and scroll down to the Hereford section and say, yeah, here's a whole list of folks who sell Hereford cattle here in the state.
And Kayla, I don't know about you, but if I get a call from somebody, just a member or whoever it may be, and they're asking me for, any breeders out there, that's my go-to source. I always refer them to that directory. And so just know, if you are a current advertiser in that directory, that is where we send people.
Yeah, all the time. I get questions. I got one not long ago about Brangus cattle, and I said, hey, here's a link.
For sure. All right, so the one that you probably spend the most time updating, because it is always being updated, but it's also very, very heavily visited for us. But our events calendar, it's probably the most
It is the most
popular.
trafficked page on the website, for sure, hands down, no questions asked. The events calendar.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that makes me a happy girl when I've put in a full day's work. Updating that and chasing those rabbit tails to get the events just right on that calendar. I love to see the busy traffic on that page. So, the events calendar, we try to make it as all-encompassing as possible. It's broken down into several different categories, but the four I kind of want to hit on today. Cattlemen's events. If you are a county cattlemen's chapter and you're having your annual meeting, maybe you're having a fundraiser, maybe you're having a charity event. If it's an organized county cattlemen's event, it can live on that tab. So please send those things our way, maybe it's your rodeo that you're having. Please send them to our office to either Jessica or myself. We'd love to hear about them. And especially if it's your annual meeting information, please get that to Jessica. She'll share it with me, and we'll get that stuff listed. You'd be amazed to know how many people visit that webpage and go, oh, so-and-so's county meeting. I need to get on that list. And so really, really great resource. And as a staff person, Aaron, we use it all the time. We use this events calendar just about as much as a regular.
Oh, it's my go-to to kind of keep track of what's going on, especially when you have 67 counties across the state. I mean, that's kind of hard to keep track of. But yeah, just a point of clarification, Kayla, it does have to be a County Cattlemen sanctioned event to live on that events calendar, correct?
Yeah. It's called Cattlemen's Events, and so that one is for county cattlemen's organized activities. Like I said, rodeos, annual meetings, charity events, quarterly meetings, whatever it might be. Now, moving on down the list is producer educational events. So those are going to be your extension programs primarily, the things that are being put on to educate producers about how to raise forage, how to raise cattle, how to market animals, anything that you need to know. Extension does a great job of putting on different programs across the state. It might be regionalized events, it might be countywide events, it might be a statewide event. If we know about it, it's going on that producer education webpage. And a lot of the time it just lives there, and then it will link out to the Extension website, to their calendar event, where you can get more information. So if you see an event and you want to learn more about it, click it, and it will take you out to the Extension website where you can get kind of more in-depth information. All right, Aaron, this is probably the big one, especially this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Cattle sales.
I knew you were coming with cattle sales.
We are headed into the fall season, which we all know is bull and registered female season, or sale season, and the cattle sales calendar is jumping right now. There is a lot of activity. I just spent the past week actually getting it updated with the new ads from the September magazine, so it is fresh off the press. If you want to check out the sales that are coming your way this fall, go to the cattle sales calendar. You can view the quick listings, or if you want to see a little bit more, you can actually click the listing and see the whole ad as it's listed in the magazine and explore it a little further. But that is, if you take the events calendar, which is already the most trafficked page on the website, and then condense it down a little further, that cattle sales one, super important. So added value as an advertiser too.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Another great reason to advertise in the Cattleman magazine, because I don't know of other states that maybe take it that one step further and have that true events calendar that we just know because we can track all of it now. The website analytics is good stuff. So we, advertisers, we want you to know. People are looking. They're searching. They want to know when that information is.
And so going back to the comment that we made about how you have to be like a county cattleman sanctioned event to get to live on the Cattlemen's Events page, you have to advertise in the magazine with a print ad in order to get a listing on the cattle sales calendar. So that's probably important to note. Again, you can get with Nikki Godwin here on our staff. She will be happy to have that conversation with you, and by default of advertising a print ad in the magazine, I'll make sure you get on the online calendar. No extra work for you. And last but certainly not least on the events calendar are youth events, whether it's the roundup this summer or these upcoming field days that we have. If there is a youth event happening, we want to promote it on there, and that might be one of our own hosted youth events, or it might be a county youth event. So County Cattlemen, if you're out there listening to this and maybe you have a show coming up this fall or a chili cook-off, I don't know, there's all kinds of great youth activities going on. Please send it to us. If it's a county cattleman or a junior cattleman sanctioned event, we'd love to list it on the youth events calendar and put some information out there for folks to find.
Your membership matters. Join the ACA today and enjoy exclusive member benefits, including a subscription to the Alabama Cattleman magazine. Learn more today at bamabeef.org/join.
Okay, so to round us out, kind of the last tab that people see, and it may be one that is a little bit more informative for people they're not as familiar with, but we have a lot of partner organizations that we work with in the state that are related somewhat to livestock. So what can people learn about the partner organizations tab?
Yeah, so you can go there and explore the Alabama Junior Cattlemen's Association. You can join as a member there and meet our officer team. You can visit the Alabama Cattle Women's Association webpage, learn more about their organization, their leadership, and that's usually where you can find their scholarship applications and other paperwork that they like to send for us to update on the site. you can make a foundation donation on that tab. You can learn a little bit about the Cattlemen's Foundation and who we are, and make a donation direct through that page. And then last but certainly not least, this has been a project that's been sitting on my to-do list for years, and I can't even claim that I'm the one that got it done. Our intern that we had here at the Cattlemen's Association a couple of years ago, Faith Lane, she made my year a couple of years ago when she updated our Hall of Fame webpage. And so now, instead of just the names of those who have been inducted being listed on that page, there's actually a photo and a bio and the year that they were inducted, and it's just a really comprehensive page and a great way to honor those folks who were inducted into the Alabama Livestock Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a neat point. And just so people know, if you ever wonder, well, where does the Hall of Fame actually live? Well, in addition to living on the website, the physical hall actually lives on the third floor of the Cattlemen's Association building. So if you ever swing by the Cattlemen's and want to see that, we have plaques for each of those Hall of Fame members, and it lives up there with a great bio, the headshot, the whole 9 yards. So really glad that we can pull that into an electronic version, though, so that people can access it and kind of see who some of those past leaders have been and really impactful people for the livestock industry.
Yeah, it's a great yearbook of folks who are just really important to the industry, to the association. Really proud to have that updated. And Faith, if you're out there listening, thank you for helping
Faith.
with that. But yeah, Aaron, that's pretty much the website in a nutshell, which is that's a big nutshell. But if you need to come to our website, those are the highlight things. Now, that's not everything. Like we said earlier, there are 58 pages of BamaBeef.org, and that doesn't even include all the clickouts to maybe the Alabama Department of Agri and Industries. There's a click out to their website. There's a click out to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, to the Southeastern Livestock Exposition, to Beef It's What's for Dinner. I could go on and on and on about all the click offs that we have that we also house on the website. But this is our content, our stuff, and stuff that we like to keep updated and are proud to offer to members and those seeking to learn more about our association.
Yeah, Kayla, I kind of see this as like the core of the website, but certainly we have seasonal things. So, for example, we're starting to talk about convention around the office.
Right.
Maybe everybody else isn't thinking about convention, but let me do a quick plug for it. It's February 21st, 22nd, 2025 in Birmingham, but we will have that registration opening up sooner than later, for sure.
Yep.
And that's something that will come back and live on the website and people can take advantage of. So, we have a lot of things that from a seasonal standpoint come and go.
Right.
And you're definitely the person that makes sure that all of that stays, active and is coming up and going down when it needs to. It's probably important to note, Kayla, just because, another set of eyes never hurts anything. But if a member ever sees something that they just know is either out of date or, not something that's current anymore, they certainly can reach out and let us know, because it's hard to keep a check on 58 different web pages.
Yeah, absolutely. I spend a lot of time auditing the site, but please be my extra set of eyes. If you see something that's wrong, if it's something that's misspelled, if it's out of place, if it's a link that's broken, that when you click it, it's not taking you to the right place. Hey, I'm human. There's human error all over the place probably on that site. And if you find it, please let me know. I want to know about it so I can get it fixed.
Well, that is a comprehensive review of the website, and I never thought that we talk about that on the podcast. But
it might not be the most exciting topic. I get it. I'm the communications geek, so I might be excited about it, but I'm probably alone in that venture, and that's okay. But it is a great tool. It is a great tool for our cattlemen, for our members, and if nothing else, hey, visit there and click out to that market report.
Let me put you on the spot here.
Oh, boy.
What's kind of just to give them an idea, what would you say kind of our average viewership on the website a month is?
Oh, we probably have north of 1,200 visitors a month on the site. And that's, like you've mentioned, seasonal. It depends on what we're driving them to.
Yeah.
So right now, as we're getting into the fall season with so many different events, that calendar is actually going to drive a lot more traffic. And then, there's times where, like during times of trial and maybe our foundation is doing a drive, we'll see a lot of picked up activity from people coming to make donations.
Yeah.
So very, very seasonal in its content and its traffic. During convention season, we get a lot more traffic because people are coming to register for convention. But I would say on average, it's about 1,200 eyes a month.
That's really good. Thanks for that. Just to give everybody kind of an idea. Well, that has been All Things website for us. Kayla, thanks a bunch for that information. Yep. And remember, cattlemen, if you have a question, maybe you're trying to find something, you're like, hey, I cannot figure out where to find this. Definitely give Kayla a shout. She'll be sure to get you to the right place, and use that website as you can. We spent a lot of time on it and want it to be a great resource for you. All right, we all know what that sound means. We have made it to the Fast Facts for the week, and I think we've got some good ones. So, Kayla, go ahead and start us off this week.
Yeah, so in less than 1 week's time, we'll be hosting our annual Bainbridge Block Party here in downtown Montgomery, Thursday, September 12th. So next Thursday, we will be hosting that event, which features a farmer's market with our friends from Sweet Grown, Alabama. We'll have live music, we'll have burgers, we'll have chicken wings, we'll have all kinds of fun things going on here at the Cattlemen's Association, including the museum tours. So y'all come out, join us for that event. What it is we just like to highlight here on Bainbridge Street, 3 different ag commodity organizations live right here on the south end of Bainbridge Street. That's the Alabama Forestry Association, Alabama Poultry and Egg Association, and of course us, the Cattlemen's. And so we just like to get together each year and kind of celebrate those little ag commodities, and it's become what we call the Bainbridge Block Party.
Always a fun event. I hope people can join. All right. Moving on with events, we've got a lot of events this time of year. We have 2 Junior Cattlemen Field Days coming up, so there's still time to register for those. They are going to be September 11th and 25th. And hey, if you've ever thought about livestock judging, or you are currently in livestock judging, these field days are for you. It's going to be a great clinic put on by Reed McGuire in our office, and then Jesse Henson, who's the AU livestock judging coach. Give Reed a shout here at the office. You can still RSVP for those. We just need to know how many kids are coming so we can make sure to have enough lunch. And then finally, I want to give a shout out to one of our county cattlemen groups. I had a great opportunity this week to travel to Covington County, our friends down there. And boy, they're doing some great things, Kayla. Covington County is up 45 members this year.
45?
Yeah, I'm just so proud of them. And so they had a great quarterly meeting. They do those down there, and had a nice meeting. Just a lot of energy in that county meeting. I walked away just
there's 45 more folks.
I know.
That's exciting.
It was just really. I just left with a lot of just kind of passion and just kind of ignited for everything. And it made me think, counties like that are the reason that I think we're going to have well over 10,500 members this year when we finish the membership drive.
Well, I hope you're right, Erin. And shout out to you guys down in Covington County. Great job. Keep it up. And that is about all the time that we have left for this week's podcast. We hope that you go explore bamabeef.org and all the things that we talked about today. But most importantly, we hope to see you back right here next week for more Cattle Connect podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Cattle Connect, brought to you by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. Be sure to subscribe to get notified when our next episode goes live. Until next time, remember, beef, it's what's for dinner.